Good morning, students. And as we have been going through the revision of lesson number 1 in geography, resources and development, today I am going to discuss with you about the subjective questions or the short answer type question and long answer type question given by me on the day before. And we are going to discuss it that how we should write the answers of these questions such that more and more marks we can be obtaining in the board examinations. So the lesson is and the subjective questions we are going to discuss. And the question number 1 which was given by me, it was what type of resource is iron ore? We know that iron ore is a mineral and it is exhaustible. Means if we use iron ore too much, then a time will come when all the iron ore reserves will be finished or exhausted. Means we are not going to obtain any more iron ore in the future if we exhaust all the reserves. So it will go in the non-renewable category. And also it is a type of abiotic resource. Because it is not derived from any living plant or animal material. Then question number 2, write classification of resources on basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, resources can be classified accordingly. Number A, individual. Number B, community. Number C, national. And number D, international. So individual resources mean the owner is a particular person or private property, like a person's land, a person's building, vehicles, and the material which he is or she is the owner. Then community resources mean the whole community is the owner of that resource. Means the playground in the village, the cattle grazing ground in the village, the pond of the village, all these are example of community resources. Then national resources, the resources within the political boundary of a nation, and up to 12 nautical miles, 19.22 kilometers in the ocean also from the shore. These are the international resources. National resources, sorry. And the international resources mean the resources which lie beyond 200 kilometers from the shore of a country are the international ones. Then in question number 3, in which category do soil of Maharashtra fall? So we know that Maharashtra is in southwest India and it is the region of Deccan Plateau. So the soil here is black soil. So black soil is the dominant soil found in Maharashtra. Then question number 4, what is wasteland? So wasteland, a place where the soil is degraded so much that no crops can be grown there. Then in question number 5, how is sheet erosion different from gully erosion? What is sheet erosion? Suppose that sheet erosion is that erosion in which the whole topsoil of a large area is cut away. So what is sheet erosion? An erosion when the entire topsoil of an area is removed by flowing water. It usually occurs when a river is in flood and a lot of area which comes under the effect of the river, it cut away the soil from that place and leads to seat erosion. Then gully erosion. And what is gully erosion? Gully erosion is a type of erosion in which the soil or is cut down by running water. Means deep trenches are cut in soil during rainy season by fast moving water. It is called gully erosion. So in gully erosion, what happens? The topsoil is there, but a portion is cut away by running water, and the portion where the topsoil is cut down, it becomes a gully, a trench-like structure. Is the gully erosion. So we have completed the short answer type questions, and now we are going to discuss the long answer type questions. In the long answer type questions, we have question number 6. How can we control land degradation in India? So, for controlling land degradation, we should adopt the following. First of all, afforestation. By afforestation, trees can be planted in place where the trees have been cut earlier, and it will encourage the plantation of trees. More trees will be there, and the roots of the tree, they hold the soil and prevent the soil, topsoil, from being cut away by running water or being blown away by moving air or wind. So first of all, afforestation. Then strip cropping. Number 3, mulching. Terrace farming. Plantation of shelter belts. Number 6, controlled mining and grazing of animals. So these are the few methods by which we can control land erosion in India. The second one, strip cropping. Strip cropping is what? The fields should be divided in such a way that on the boundaries the grasses can be grown easily, and these grasses, they check the flow of water as well as the moving air also. Then mulching means covering the bare ground with straw and other things such that the ground does not remain bare and easily carried away by blowing air and running water. Then terrace farming, the slopes of the hills should be cut in terrace-like structure, means steps, and the plantation can be done on that. When the terrace farming is done, the flow of moving water, it reduces. The speed of water reduces and less erosion happens on the hill. Then plantation of shelter belt trees can be planted in rows and columns. And the rows and columns, the tree prevent the movement of air, they stop the velocity of air or reduce it and prevent erosion. Then controlled mining should be controlled, and the grazing of animals should also be controlled. So if you can do all these things, then the degradation of land can be controlled by us. And the next question, mention any 4 features of black soil. So black soil has certain features which is not found in some other soil. First of all, black soil, it develops from decomposition of igneous rocks, particularly basalt. It is made up of fine clay material. Then it is rich in calcium carbonate, lime, potash, etc. But it is deficient in phosphorus. So this soil is rich in the following minerals. Then in dry season it develops deep cracks, and in the wet season it becomes sticky. The soil is sticky in nature, therefore just after the rains it requires ploughing. And the next question, explain the principles of sustainable development. What do we mean by sustainable development? Sustainable development is a type of development in which the development is done but without harming the resources and using the resources in a justified way. No overuse of resources is done and no harm to the environment, particularly soil, water and air is done. This is called sustainable development. So, the objectives of sustainable development, they can easily be demonstrated as, first of all, justified use of natural resources, protection of environment, from degradation, and maintain the present rate of development. So in sustainable development, development is done without harming the natural environment, without harming the air, water, soil, and in the sustainable development, the minerals and resources are used in such a way that they meet our requirement and they are also available for our future coming generations also. And the last question, what are potential resources? Then potential resources are those resources which are easily available to us, but they are not being used at present to meet our needs. They have the potential, but we are not using it. We have the technology, but we are not using it. For example, solar energy in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, a lot of solar energy or photo period is available. The sun shines very brightly here and it's too hot. Solar energy can be easily made here, but we are not using it fully, and it has the potential to satisfy our needs. This is the potential energy. Then the importance of potential energy. Potential energy is very important. Why? Because we can use this energy in times of need. Suppose we can use the solar energy and we can save the precious coal and fossil fuels from exhaustion. Then the solar energy is also renewable and it is not harmful to the environment. It doesn't produce any harmful gases or damage the environment. So these are the some of the few benefits of using the potential sources of energy which you are not using at present. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening to me. Have a good day.